welcome Melissa to the call. This is Passionate Life TV, and where I interview experts and individuals on tips and insight on how to live a passionate life. And I'm so today. I guess first of all, let's introduce yourself to the viewers and our listeners of the call.
Yeah, so I'm Melissa. I am 28 years old and I live in Bayside, Melbourne. I am actually a neurotherapist for business owners. That's my main specialty. And I also have a co-working space, and I'm a part of a lot of community projects in my local area. The main thing I do with my clients is I help them to be the best and truest version of themselves, so it reflects well on their business, and they can have success in different areas of their life where they find that. So yeah,
fantastic. And I guess one of the reasons I wanted to interview you because of your personal life story. I find it very inspiring, and you've overcome a lot of challenges to become the person you are today. Would you like to share with us your personal story?
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of got into. I was always in a relationship. When I was, I met someone when I was quite young, and I moved out of home straight away. Like, I only had known him for about 3 months. And I moved in with him, and I found that he was a bit older, but I was 20 years old, working full time and doing the cooking and cleaning and not feeling appreciated. And then he would kind of not talk to me for weeks on end, and I felt really restricted, and I ended up just leaving that relationship, and I actually bought a house with a friend. And within that time, I went through a few relationships that were just rubbish. And then I ended up back with the first guy.
Yep.
And my relationship broke down with my friend who I bought the house with, so I moved back in with him. And it was really fantastic. Like, I laid down the law. I'm just like, we get back together. I have to have this and that. He's like, yeah, that's fine. And it was going really well. And we lived together for 1.5 years, and then we went and bought a house together.
Yeah.
And I thought everything was great. Like, he, while I was with him, he went and got a Lamborghini, so it was all flashy and stuff on the outside. But on the inside, I didn't really feel right. And we were kind of doing things like he was kind of taking drugs and stuff like that, and not wanting to go live and like go out on the weekends and, go have fun. I'm like, there's no point in having this car if we don't go travel and have experiences. And I had this burning desire inside of me to create my own business, but and I'm not blaming him, but the whole vibe was that that I should just keep working and doing, the easy stuff and clean the house and stuff. And I'm like, no, like, inside there was like this burning flame that wanted to come out. I'm like, there's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah.
So this is kind of embarrassing, but so the real estate agent was really cute, and we had like a spark and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, like, I love my boyfriend, it was fine. And he ended up chasing me for about 4 or 5 months, and I kind of ignored it. And it was funny because my partner at the time, he's like, oh, that guy's, what have you guys got going on? Like, I felt something weird, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nothing, like. But then I ended up going to his office because I started a sales job, and he was giving me advice and stuff, and it started like that, and then it turned into kind of like this affair, and he left his partner straight away, whereas I took my time. I'm like, I just bought a house with this guy, like, what's going on? He's like, come and move in with me. I'm like, it's only been 2 weeks, and it was so emotional, and it totally affected my job. I was like that emotional and anxious about everything that was going on that I actually did, like, my work was really bad, and my manager's like, what's going on? And it was affecting my productivity, and it was just this emotional roller coaster. Anyway, I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm moving out. It was so hard. I had to move upstairs, and my ex-partner was like coming in my room and crying, and it was so awful. Anyway, I went to move out, and that morning that I moved out, the other guy actually called me and said, I can't do this anymore, I'm sorry. and kind of hung up, and that was it. So basically a 4-year on and off relationship and a 6-month relationship ended in one day, and I found myself in an apartment around the corner from both of them. Just hating life. A nice apartment on the beach, but I didn't see it then because I was so upset. I'm like, I don't care about the water. I hate my life. And like, I'd wake up and I'd go to turn around and hug someone and no one was there. And I'm like, I got to the point where I was like, I need some help because I don't know how to deal with this. I'm doing negative things like smoking and drinking and stuff. And it was just, I knew that I needed to go seek help. So I got to, one of my friends goes, I know this guy. And I thought I was just going to go there and talk to someone. I was offering them, just I'll take you out for a coffee. But I went to go see him and it was just, I didn't know what was going on. And he had me in a bit of a trance sometimes and stuff like that. And I left and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a totally different perspective on everything that just happened. I have love and gratitude for every perceived bad thing that happened in my past. What just happened? Like, that just changed my life. Anyway, so that's fine. And I was happy again and I was back at work. And then about a month after that, I broke down in tears again because I saw those other people that had moved on and stuff. And I hadn't fully moved on yet. And then my trainer's like, just come and do the course. You'll know more about it. You can contact the other trainers whenever you want. And I got halfway through the course. I'm like, I can combine my business consulting with this. And the reason why I got to that kind of idea was that I had an idea for an online jewelry store for 12 months. And it wasn't until that day that I went and had that kind of hypnosis kind of session with that guy. As soon as I did that, I actually designed the product, got it manufactured, imported, and started selling in 2 months. And I'm like, there's something in this. It must be that we get in our own way to pursue our dreams. Yeah, so I did the course halfway through. Yeah, went back to work, resigned. Got clients first, resigned.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of months now, I have my own practice. I have a co-working space for other entrepreneurs, and I combine working on people's personal life because it's just what worked for me. And now it's my gift I can give to the world. And I look back on what happened and I'm so grateful because I'm like, if that bad stuff didn't happen in the relationships, I wouldn't be emotionally intelligent now. I wouldn't be as independent now, and I couldn't be helping other men and women as well with their relationships and ongoing their business and their health. So
yeah. And I think, first of all, thank you for your honesty. I think it's very challenging for you to share, so vulnerably with everyone. And I do really appreciate that because, I think when you're able to be so honest and vulnerable about the stuff that, matters to you the most, that's when you actually attract amazing things in your life.
thank
you talk about love and gratitude. And I think that's a big part of everyday life that we keep missing on, that we just don't do enough. I know that you work a lot with businessmen and women on how to get rid of, a lot of the baggage, as you call it, the emotional baggage. You do a lot of gratitude work with them as well as part of the journey?
Absolutely. Like, love and gratitude is a huge part of it because no matter what, there's always going to be challenges in your life, whether it be in your business and your life. But if you choose those challenges, you can have nothing but love and gratitude, even for the hard things, because you're on the way to a bigger vision.
Yeah.
And really with emotional balancing, it's like you don't have to be on this emotional roller coaster. You can come back to the baseline, which is love and gratitude, rather than like trying to be positive and happy all the time. And then something will come in to like crash you down and you're like this emotionally, and then you make decisions like that. And that's not a great way to make a decision. Where that middle line is love and gratitude, you can see both sides, the good and the bad together.
Yeah.
Then that's love and gratitude. And also saying that to people, like, you will attract more of it into your life. And it's not just love like with a partner, it's just love for the world, but of course loving yourself and letting that overflow into a partner, you have to love yourself enough in that way for that to be a beautiful relationship, I believe. So you're the expert, so you
Absolutely, I totally agree on that. I think part of the journey, it's about, first of all, finding ourselves and accepting and loving ourselves unconditionally. And
yeah,
I reckon, and you know, this including me, I reckon self-love is probably one of the hardest thing for a human being to do. It's we
yeah,
everyone else so much beyond, you know, imagination. But when it comes to loving yourself, it's always been a challenge. And a lot of it is, you know, we carry with us a lot of guilt and emotions, anger,
absolutely.
all sort. And so that's why we beat ourselves up a lot of the time. I think what you do is so valuable because you're able to help people let go of that and see
Yeah.
themselves for the complete person that they are underneath.
Yeah, it is amazing because I've had clients that at 5 years old, because a certain parent said something to them, they decided that they weren't valuable enough, or that their mum was angry when they were little, and they took on the anger and the guilt of not like, I can't be loved, and they've taken that through their whole life. So as soon as we can release that, like, it's just incredible to watch the transformation in them so quickly once that's released. And it's not a conscious thing that you can go, oh yeah, I know that time when I was like 10 years old, I know when that happened, when that kid said something to me. Well, no, consciously it's really hard to find sometimes, and that's why it is hard. So it's good to have someone like you, like, where you can read through and identify, okay, where do I have this limiting belief about myself and why, and how can I change that perception? Or you can get someone like me that can go in and change it as well. But you know, if you're yearning for a partner, well, you've got to first look at yourself first and go, well, what's missing in me that I'm trying to bring in here? Okay? Yeah.
And you know, what do you think are some of the key challenges that women in business are struggling with?
Yeah, so I guess some of the key challenges are communication with their family. I mean, being an entrepreneur and having your own business is a totally different mindset in itself. And what can happen is, especially if they're working from home, they kind of like vomit all their stuff onto their loved ones who just don't, the loved ones don't understand. Like, they don't get the entrepreneurial mindset. They don't get the struggle, but our long-term vision, it's like, and it's hard to communicate on that level. So when it comes to that, it's like, okay, well, I've got to find a group that I can be a part of that understand. So I'm not putting all that burden on my family who just don't get it, and I'm not getting back what I want. So yeah, a key part to that is knowing what your family members or your relationships, what they highly value, and speaking to them in that way. Another struggle is definitely health, like how much stress. I understand how much stress that business owners go through, and anxiety, and that kind of can freeze you, and you're like, well, you know, I'm struggling for clients and stuff, so I'm going to get up and not exercise. I'm going to go straight to work, and then their personal care and their how they look after themselves and their diet lacks because they're frozen with the stresses. But what in fact happens is it's like a cycle, because when you stop looking after yourself and your health, then then your energy drops, and then productivity drops, and then your relationship drops, and then you start having challenges in your relationship because of self-care, stress, and not looking after yourself. It's just like this cycle that goes around and around, and it can be a downward spiral.
Absolutely.
Or sometimes, yeah, they can hit rock bottom and put it all on their family, but then they have the breakthrough because they hit rock bottom. I think the biggest learnings are when you hit rock bottom and then you sit there and go, I can't do this to my family or my partner anymore. Like, I've got to do something about it. So
I think you spawn with that. When it comes to health, it's always undervalued. It's something we take for granted until we're sick or we're exhausted, we're drained. Then we feel like, oh my God, I need to take some time out. But it's just an immediate solution. It's not a long-term sustainable one. I think once it comes to that, your service come in with a lot of value because we want to help release a lot of these frustration and stress. Because your body can't deal with stress. It's a fight or flight response. And when you go into that, all your energy is going to fighting mode or flying mode. So you have to live for anything else more. No creativity, no space for love or passion, no space for family. And I think health is something that people undervalue. And yeah, I so agree with you that by releasing a lot of these stress, we will to focus on the business a lot more effectively.
Absolutely. And you're right with the creativity, and especially in the fields that we're in, people are wanting someone that's authentic, that has been through it and that they can connect with. And if you pretend to be someone that you're not, or you've got some layers there, it's hard for people to connect with you. So yeah, it's definitely, it's really beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Tell me more a bit about, what techniques do you use to help people get rid of a lot of this emotional baggage?
Okay, yeah, so I know the word hypnosis has some negative connotations. It's only some hypnotic language that I use. I actually assist clients to pull up memories from the subconscious or the unconscious mind, which stores all of our memories, whether we can consciously remember them or not. And I just get their conscious and their subconscious in line, and then I say, okay, when's the first time that you actually felt this anger towards this person? And what we do is we just, because we don't need the negative emotion, but we do need the learning. We need to learn from things that have happened. So instead of having the negative emotion and the negative impact that it has on our bodies, I actually get them to look at it in a different perspective. And once you change that, it is released, but you're much the wiser, and then you see that repetitive patterns stop happening, such as some women that perhaps date the same man or have the belief in what a relationship could be. The other thing that I do is I teach a lot about human behavior, about emotional balancing, about communication with other people, and about fulfilling themselves and filling their day with things that make them feel energized and fulfilled. And that does come back to the self-love and being able to overflow once you do feel fulfilled. And then success habits, which does incorporate the health side, of course, as well, which is like my secret passion. So it is about, what's your daily routine? Are you doing that around things that you love? And then what are your long-term goals? What's the legacy you're leaving, and how can we get you to that? And I actually set goals in people's future kind of timeline and bring it forward, because it's like, I want to write a book, I want to create this documentary maybe in a couple of years. And what happens is always in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of bringing that closer into reality and creating the habits around that for that to come alive. And with business owners, of course, it's going to include these business goals as well. So yeah, that's basically the gist of what I do. There's a little bit of spirituality in there. I'm very scientific, but I have had some amazing experiences, so I do share that with my clients as well. But yeah.
Well, I think when it comes to business, a lot of it can be so logical, but at the same time, there's actually more business owners now growing and stretching themselves and reach the next stage of personal development, which ultimately go to spirituality. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's actually for us to be able to open up for new possibility to come in and to attract more abundance, especially when it comes to health, and abundance when it comes to emotions, good resourceful emotions, and financial as well. And
absolutely. My favorite, so I'm going to cut you off, but I have to tell you one of my favorites. This isn't the exact saying, but you get the idea of it. Your success in your life, so however you define success in different areas of your life, will not outgrow your personal development.
Yep.
So you need to personally grow, and it's like your business is a reflection of you. So if you want your business to grow and get to the next level, you need to grow and get to the next level and increase that vision. And That's definitely
Absolutely.
one of my favorite.
Well, it's funny because in my book, I told people that your relationship can only grow to the extent that you do. And it's
Wow.
about it's perception is projection. We're projecting, ourselves into the external world, and we're
Yeah.
that it is about us becoming a better version of ourselves and aiming to live an amazing life that we know we truly deserve. But a lot of the time, I find that we know what we want, but the limitations being so massive, and we're buying into that BS.
Yeah.
And
I have before.
yeah, including myself totally. And when it comes to business, when it comes to health, when it comes to relationship, there are limitations I had to overcome, and I continue to overcome and resolve more issues underneath, so that the external world become a reflection of that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that.
But having you on the call, it's been so great because I find that even personal stories have so much more today. And from where you were to where you are today, you probably have grown so, so much. And
So much and so fast. Like this only happened so when my whole life collapsed and I was blaming everyone but myself for what happened, and it was just awful. It was October 2013,
wow,
and I started my company at the end of April last year.
fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
It's
exciting.
amazing.
Yeah, and I think this is where gratitude come in. And not only the gratitude we have for what's outside, but also the gratitude towards ourselves as well, to be able to self-acknowledge the growth that we've had and the journey we've been on. I think that's just been phenomenal and amazing. And I mean, thank you so much for being so honest, to share and
You're welcome.
yeah,
If it can help someone or someone's been through that, then I've totally feel I think I'm a bit of an open book, but that's also because I want my clients to open up to me as well. So I share my story with no guilt,
yeah.
no fear. That's all God. So I really appreciate it. It's been amazing talking to you as well, and your book's amazing and everything. So thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. And in the future, I would love to have you back on the call. But before you go, I would love to ask you, what would be a number one tip to give to women out there who are dealing with emotional challenges?
Okay, so my number one tip is to ask yourself and to be aware of the emotions. So if you're feeling quite negative and down, it's to kind of stop and imagine, just kind of stop and recognize it, and in a way kind of look at yourself and go, why am I feeling like this? If it's quite negative, go, okay, what's a benefit out of this, or what is happening in this exact moment that's actually awesome? What
Yeah.
am I missing? There's an opportunity, because there's nothing missing.
Mm.
There's something always amazing within it or about to happen, and
Yep.
come back to love and gratitude. And that's all that's my number one tip, is to just keep asking yourself questions.
Yeah, fantastic. And I love you when you say, come back to always love and gratitude. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being on the call. I'm sure we'll be having, lots of fun in the future, and I would love to welcome you back with more
Thank you.
insights and more topics. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye, Melissa.
Bye.